Workplace bullying is a significant issue that affects employee well-being and productivity, but research suggests that there's a powerful way to combat this, and that's inclusive leadership. In today's video, we're going to explore how inclusive leadership practices can create safer, healthier workplaces and reduce bullying. So let's get into it. Workplace bullying can be indicative of a toxic workplace culture. Employees can feel isolated, disrespected, belittled. It can lead to low self-esteem, disengagement, and it can even result in burnout. So that's a real significant impact on that person, but there's also an impact on the organisation. It can lead to high staff turnover and reduced productivity. Let's hear how this might sound for somebody in a one-to-one.
How am I? Well, I'm really struggling with some of the comments and some of the behaviour just from the rest of the team. It's like they're constantly ignoring me, and it's really starting to get to me. Yeah, like at the team meeting, we'll be discussing clients, and we'll all be bringing our ideas forward and how we can engage them more. And I'll pitch my ideas, and they're just ignored. It's like I don't have a voice. And the ideas are good. Well, I think they're good. Well, I would, wouldn't I? And they're just kicked to the side. Nobody's listening. And then next thing, next week we've got the meeting again, ideas again, and one of them comes up with the exact same idea I've had. And it's like, woo, 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 let's do this. It's excitement, it's partying, and it's happening. It's really, really soul destroying. It's like I just don't count. It's like I'm not considered. What's the point? Yeah, well, it's making me feel so stressed and anxious. It's really hard to stay sort of focused on my work. And I really used to enjoy working here, but it's really awful now, and I just don't feel part of the team. It's not going well.
So how can leaders and managers help prevent this, and how can they manage it? Well, research in 2024 by Azadar et al. Found that inclusive leadership is a key to reducing workplace bullying, and that inclusive leaders, they help promote openness, accessibility and fairness. And by creating a psychologically safe environment, they can really empower employees to share their uniqueness, their unique ideas. They can bring themselves forward without the fear of judgment, without the fear of being excluded or being singled out as the weird one. Who wants that? And so this in turn reduces that likelihood of bullying. And when we've got that less likelihood of bullying, we've got a supportive, collaborative team culture. So how can leaders practice inclusive leadership? It starts with creating that environment where all employees feel valued and heard. And there are some practical steps that I'm going to talk you through. You can be open and accessible. What that means is that you are not that person, that leader who is never seen, never around, only ever shows up when there's work to dish out or there's a problem. And you can make yourself receptive to hearing from people. So you take time to engage with employees and make yourself available to address their concerns. So whether that's one-to-one or as a team. So leaders can encourage risk-taking and collaboration. When employees are feeling safe to take risks and to share their ideas, however weird or wacky or out there they are, they're less likely to be bullied because those ideas were invited and welcomed. So we can encourage diverse perspectives, and we can kind of challenge that groupthink that, 80% of people were always going to come up with that idea. So we got to challenge that. So we get that creativity going. So in terms of being a leader, you can facilitate the team meetings to open up and invite all of these diverse perspectives. Brilliant. You can be present, you can be there, you can lead by example, come up with the ideas yourself as well, contribute, get things moving. It loosens people's thinking up and it's great. And we can encourage taking accountability. So when ideas come up, holding them, sharing them, who's going to move forward on that? So it's about that shared ownership. Leaders can support self-esteem. And how do they do that? Well, they can help build their employees' self-esteem through being appreciative of their contributions, through inviting that contribution, through running with that and not having any kind of doubt as to what that value of that contribution is. So however weird, wacky out there that contribution is, it's valid and it's heard. And that helps people feel stronger and able to contribute, which builds their self-esteem because they are valid, they are seen. Another thing that a leader can do is foster this feeling of belongingness. And that's about creating a culture where every single team member feels that they belong in the team, but also that they're critical and integral to that team's success, so how they perform. This leads to a feeling of embeddedness. Now, this is about how connected an employee feels to the organisation. But the research found that this can actually impact against the effectiveness of inclusive leadership. As this particular approach to leadership helps employees form these strong organisational ties. So you're doing well as an inclusive leader, people are feeling really tied into the organisation, they feel that they belong, they're feeling loyal. But the downside of that is that the employee can then feel kind of stuck in the organisation, like kind of glued in, bound in, and they've got to then find themselves weighing up kind of the benefits to the organisation and them, that lovely feeling of embeddedness and belonging, versus their autonomy as a person who might want to leave the organisation or might want promotion and to move on. So they can end up with this conflict. So a skilled leader will make sure that person has that feeling of embeddedness whilst also encouraging and nurturing that empowerment of being autonomous, so they can move on and move through. So that's a skilled leader who can balance those two, because we kind of want both.
Yeah, like things are they're like way better now. It's really good. Thanks. I really appreciate that you've been stepping in with the team meetings more often, and it's just made such a difference. The meetings, they're like less wild now. So like, we used to have the same three people like stomping over everyone. And I've heard from Jess, I've heard from Jamil in the meetings, and yeah, I'd not really noticed them before. I didn't really know them, and they've got some really interesting perspectives, specifically like that new Wave project, and we're all moving forward on that now. Yeah, I'm enjoying the job again. I had been thinking about looking for a new job, to be honest, but I'm going to leave that for now. Yeah, we can discuss it. Yeah, goals, progression. Yeah, let's chat about that at my next review. So thank you, I really appreciate it. Thanks.
So inclusive leadership isn't just about diversity and recognising that. It is part of it, but it's about making sure every employee feels valued, heard and supported. So by embracing these practices, it ends up with an environment where people feel psychologically safe. And if we understand those nuances around embeddedness, leaders can really create a workplace where bullying is less likely to take hold and to thrive, and that's what we're looking for. So it's time to lead with compassion and make a real difference to working lives. I mentioned compassion, inclusivity sits within that. But do remember, if you are subject to workplace harassment and bullying, you've got to report it. Report it to your manager's manager, Human Resources Department, your Dignity at Work lead. In your organisation, there'll be that person to go to them. You do not need to suffer in silence. Also, if you do want to talk, you can book a focused hour with me. The link's in the bio. Until next time, good day.